Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at FSLR. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. And here on this chart I am tracking probably something like an ABC pattern. Yeah, this is the likely interpretation that would be developing in my opinion. And within this wave C, we have built most of the structure, and yeah, even probably the fourth wave already, where I would consider this an initial wave 1 up, a wave 2 down here, a third wave up here, a fourth wave correction with an overshoot in the wave B, and we could be looking now for the fifth wave to the upside. Now, this isn't necessarily a very bullish structure, but yeah, I clearly have no impulse that has formed in this area. The only other thing I could really consider is a series of 1-2 setups, and yeah, this just doesn't seem too right. Yeah, I believe it is the most likely interpretation at this point, and I don't even really see many other options. I suppose if we consider that this is the wave A top, yeah, that could be a thing, then we would now be in a wave C, or maybe something like a larger wave 3 to the upside. Yeah, then this could be 1-2. A third wave could be on the way, where so far we have developed an A wave up. We could be looking for a B wave correction that could have also already formed. Yeah, I'm still considering this an overshoot for now, and in that case we could be looking still to the upside. So in either case, I am tracking from a large time frame perspective a direct continuation to the upside. I suppose we could add this count as well to the chart, and in that case we would be looking at quite different support zone areas, but generally in all of these we are expecting to push higher. The only difference is that in the yellow scenario, within the fifth wave to the upside, I am tracking, or yeah, in the yellow scenario I'm tracking an ending diagonal within the wave C, and in the fifth wave to the upside I am looking at this as an ABC pattern that would unfold in the end, where in the wave C to the upside, in the case of the white interpretation, I would be expecting a 5-wave structure to be forming. Could be an ending diagonal, no problem there, but it would be in a 5-wave move. So in the end we may be able to determine what type of structure we really are within, if we should be looking out for continuation in a larger pattern in a 5-wave move. And for support in a wave 4, it will be determined by which structure unfolds to the upside in this area. Okay, now in this case we can zoom in a little and draw some potential support zones that we could be tracking in this area. And in the case of a wave B, we wouldn't have actually even reached the area of support, which would have started at the $104.5 level all the way down to the $44.7 level. Yeah, that is not necessarily ideal. And if I am to consider that this was a third wave to the upside, I would be looking at a slightly different support zone for the yellow interpretation in the area between the 141, or yeah, let's say $42 level, all the way down to the $63.7 level at a 61.8% retracement. In this case we did already reach the area of support, and yeah, it seems more likely at this point that this is the scenario that we could, or maybe even should be tracking. I suppose if we track to the exact top here in this wave A, we could have reached the support zone in the wave B, but yeah, I don't really have a clear 5-wave structure. This would need to be a wave C in one way or the other, and it doesn't really seem likely unless I consider this something like an ABC. Yeah, I suppose it could be possible, not really a problem, and doesn't really matter. I am open to tracking both interpretations here to the upside, both in a larger ABC forming here, or in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that could occur. Now internally within this push, within this movement to the upside, yeah, we have actually a very corrective structure. It's not necessarily ideal. I would be able to consider this a possible 1, 2, then this would be another 1, 2, but what is more likely in my opinion is that this would be an initial smaller wave 1 up, a wave 2 down here. We are tracking now a third wave to the upside we are looking afterwards for a wave 4 and then a fifth. But in this wave 3, it is likely that this would be only an initial wave A up, and we could be looking for a correction afterwards in a wave B. Now we have to be very much aware that there is still structural resistance ahead as well. We have this peak that could prove a bit more difficult to break, even if we look from the larger time frame perspective, or from the previous peaks that we had towards the beginning of the trading period. For this chart, we do also have quite some structural resistance in this area, and with that said, I would like to track a possible continuation of this correction to the downside, especially in the case of the white scenario, where I would consider that we might only have an A wave down yet of the larger wave B structure, and we could still be looking for this correction to continue. Now, unfortunately, in the case of the white scenario, it is a wave B correction, and those are highly complex and they could unfold in very many different ways. Could be a WXY pattern, could be a triangle to the sideways that could unfold, and they are generally quite difficult to trade, but we can look for a general area of resistance in this case in the area between the $168 level all the way up to the $249 level, which we seem to have pushed into, or nearly. Maybe I have not drawn this perfectly, but the idea is we got rejected at the 78.6% retracement, which is a general area that we should expect some resistance. It is often the case that we do find resistance in that area, and in this case I would be prepared for at least somewhat of a local top in this area, but not before we form a clear 5-wave structure to the upside here, because even in an A wave up, we are still expecting to form at least in an ABC pattern, something like that, a clear 5-wave structure, which I could argue that may need still one more high to be considered complete. And internally, honestly, if I look even at the daily, we do have divergences. It is possible that it could be complete, but I am open to tracking an additional high in this area. And in this case, we can add some count like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we could be looking out for. Now I will be tracking this separately in the blue interpretation. And for this idea, we must hold the area of support for such a correction in wave 4 between the $235 level all the way down to the $215 level at the 61.8% retracement. Now, if that happens to break, I believe we should be prepared for a deeper push down, where I would be watching out for something like an ABC pattern that could be unfolding in this area. And let's track this entire count. Now, this actually is within the white scenario. So in this case, I would be watching out for a general support area, much deeper actually, between the $196.8 level all the way down to the $154 level at the 78.6% retracement, which if we actually break this level, it would be a pretty good warning sign that this structure is going to fail, and that we may even have a reset of the larger correction that would be unfolding in this area. And it could be the case even in the wave 4 that this correction is not complete, even in the yellow interpretation, but especially in the white scenario, I would be cautious, I would be prepared for an additional low. And for now, there isn't much else to add. You have the resistance areas, you have the support areas, and these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.